What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 26 here on Inspired Stories. Today I'm highlighting, I believe, the first mix engineer that I have highlighted on this show. He goes by the name of IRKO, based in LA, California. I actually discovered IRKO on the app Clubhouse back at the beginning of 2021. I believe I was in my friend Rothstein Beats' room, and Rothstein runs, and I think he still does to this day, he runs like a music networking room every morning where people can go in and meet new people and connect. And I always thought that was a cool thing that Rothstein had going on. So one morning I went in, and it was probably the first time I introduced myself to the room. And I just said I was a producer and a podcast host, and that I was looking for podcast guests. And IRKO always showed up. Like, I always saw his face. I always saw him in other rooms, and he always showed up to this room specifically. So he reached out to me, I believe, on either the messenger on there or on Instagram, because I had my Instagram attached. And we just connected, and later on that summer, I actually did have him on the show, and it was such a great episode. IRKO, man, he's just a funny guy. His personality just really shines through. And just our discussion about, him caring so much about the work that he puts in, no matter what artist it is. Could be one of the biggest artists in the world, could be an independent act, that's on their first project. I think he just puts in the same amount of energy to everything he does. I love IRKO's YouTube channel. You should definitely go check out that. The last couple years he had an entire vlog series about building his brand new studio from the ground up, like building the entire structure and everything. It wasn't just go to an existing building and build out a room. He's building the entire thing from scratch. And I actually don't know if that's done yet. I assume it is, because when we talked, that was almost 2 years ago, and he said, the majority of it was starting to get built, and he would just go into detail about every, little nuance, the sound design, the layout of the studio, where the recording booth was going to be, where the soundboards were going to be, how everything was going to get hooked up and everything. And it's very entertaining. His content creation, across the board, and his brand is spot on. You'll always know him from wearing, the button-up shirt with the bow tie. He's got the glasses on. His whole thing is just amazing, and the music he's worked on is incredible. Most notably, shortly after we talked on the podcast, he mixed the entire Donda album for Kanye West. And that was such a cool thing, because I was like, I just talked to that guy a couple months ago, and now he mixed, the biggest album in the world at that time. And so that is one of his biggest things he's done to date. And I'm just going to be, looking forward to seeing what he does moving on here. And like I said, I still follow him on Instagram. I'm still in touch with him. Hopefully can get him on the show again soon one day. To reconnect. He even invited me to come out, if I'm ever in the area in LA, to his studio. So hopefully can definitely do that as well. I would love to see that, how it came to be. And like I said, I don't know if it's open. I assume it's probably either open or almost done at this rate. But yeah, would love to reconnect with him. And IRKO, if you're watching this, man, I love your energy and your spirit. I love your work ethic, your content, just everything you do in music for artists, and your story in general is just inspiring. If you guys haven't heard that podcast episode, go check it out, because he, even goes into how he came to the States to begin with and was just chasing this dream of being involved in music and having a career. And he's really turned it into something for himself, and just starting from nothing and building it to something. So it's very inspiring, and that's really what this whole thing is all about. So definitely look into IRKO, IRKO, IRKO. If you just look up his name, I'm sure a lot of things will come up. of his and just dive in and have fun, enjoy his content, and check out the songs he's mixed as well. So, without further ado, that was episode 26 of Inspired Stories, and I'll be back in the month of May for the next episode. And once again, I always appreciate you guys watching, supporting, and we will see you next time.